Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Stroke. I know this is a different time than I usually go, typically 10 a.m. Central Time, but thank you guys for being here. And welcome to Let's Talk Stroke. I am your host, Jerry Wald, and stroke survivor. And if you haven't been here and new to my show, this show is all about bringing awareness to stroke, TBI, aphasia, brain injury, and also provide a platform for survivors to share their journeys from across the world. And like this morning or this evening, I'm so used to this morning. Ian Engelman is he's here today from Insightful Products, and he's going to demonstrate. A lot of people have been asking me to see if he can come back on and share more information about his products that he has. And if you like the product and you want to order it, here is a use my name Jerry 10 discount and also free shipping. So please welcome Ian here, and let's bring him on, and we'll have a great time and learn a little more about it. So Ian, thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Hey Jerry, hey everybody, thanks for being here. I'm going to be talking primarily about the stages or the phases of gait. So gait meaning ambulation or walking, and there's two basic phases. It's the phase of stance phase when your foot's hitting the ground, and swing phase when your foot is up off the ground. So each foot is alternating both stages, of course, and the design of a brace really has to consider all those elements. And so we're going to kind of break it down between swing phase and stance phase, and then we're going to break it down a little further different parts of stance phase and how a brace design would really enhance your ability to move around, or sometimes, unfortunately, make it even harder for you to move. So that's my plan. And Jerry, do you want me to just get right going, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get right into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing I'm going to talk about is a simple thing. And it's simple yet not so simple. So the idea is designing a brace to get up out of a chair. So it's great to have a brace that keeps your foot up as you swing through, but there's a whole lot more that you do every day in your lives besides just swinging your leg through, and getting up and down out of a chair is one of them. And so the important element in design consideration for this is what's called dorsiflexion. So your foot plantar flexes, which is this way, and dorsiflexes, which is this way. And with drop foot, what happens is it drops too much like this. And so you need a brace to bring that foot up so you can clear the ground as you swing it through. But if you have a brace that's too stiff and doesn't allow plantar flexion, or too stiff and doesn't allow dorsiflexion, then you have functional problems throughout the day, and you can struggle unnecessarily. All right. So we'll just talk about getting up out of a chair. So getting up out of a chair, if you have a stiff brace like this one, it's hard because you can't get your foot behind you. Part of getting up out of a chair is getting your foot underneath you so you can actually get your weight forward of where your foot is. And too many braces are too stiff, and it inhibits just the basic concept or the basic function of getting up out of a chair. So here we have Austin, who's got our Step Smart brace on. And Austin, why don't you show getting up out of a chair? Okay, so you see how much it dorsiflexed? So we're going to do that again. So bring your foot back. So back, go ahead, bring your foot back. Now that right there, see how he brought his foot back? That's important when you're getting up out of a chair. You need to bring that foot back. And see how much dorsiflexion is in his foot right there? Mm-hmm. That dorsiflexion is allowed, or we allow that brace to dorsiflex with our design. And that's part of the reason why it's so important, okay? So getting up out of a chair, you need dorsiflexion. And a stiff brace is not a good choice for that. All right, so now we're going to talk about the phases of gait. It's interesting that it's called drop foot. To me, that's a misnomer, because really, if you're missing the anterior compartment or this muscle group in front there, you can't bring your foot up. That's called drop foot.
Yeah.
But also, that muscle group is responsible for deceleration and heel strike. So when your foot hits the ground and you come into foot flat like that, that muscle group decelerates or slows that foot down. And so you don't end up getting slap foot like that. So that is an important element to walking, is from heel strike to foot flat. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But I think my point is that the word drop foot is really too generic. It's not quite a good description of the actual functional deficits of somebody who's missing, the anterior compartment or this frontal compartment of muscle group. And it really should be called swing and stance deficit or anterior compartment deficit. But that's what people see. Like when they analyze your gait and somebody's watching your gait, they see the drop foot is so obvious because you have to hip hike or you have to swing your leg around or somehow get that leg through without tripping over the toe. So they see that, so they call it drop foot. What they don't see is all the other problems that happen when you have drop foot, when you hit the ground and when you come over and you try to propel to the next swing phase. So we're gonna break it down step by step. All right, we're doing okay, Jerry? You following me?
I am following you. Now, when you step out of a chair, when you get up for a chair, like I mentioned, I was told, well, I always try to put all my weight on that foot, the affected side, just because I always favor my good side.
You want to, if you're getting up out of a chair, you want to get up using your good side.
And
because it's easier.
Falling down, I guess.
Because you don't have to struggle. So get your good side underneath you, okay, and use that one leg to get up out of a chair. And if you have a chair with arms, it's a lot easier. Trying to get up out of a chair without arms is a problem. So we have arms in our chairs around here for a reason. So we're going to move, Austin, if you don't mind moving back here. And if you get to show the foot again. So here, I'm going to demonstrate the phases of gait without a step smart brace, okay?
Okay.
Just to go over them. So here we have heel strike, okay? So heel strike is when the foot hits the ground, like that, heel strike, boom. Then what happens is the foot comes down, it plantar flexes, like that. We're going to talk more about that, but that movement right there that you just saw is super important to everybody who's listening, because if you don't have that and your foot's locked up like this, there's a couple things that happen. Mostly your knee is kicked forward and you're unstable at your knee.
Right.
Okay? And you can't handle ramps very well because you got to go sideways, right? Yep. So if you have a step smart brace or a brace that has plantar flexion during heel strike, and you can control that downward stroke during the heel strike to foot flat phase, then you're much more stable. Your knee is more stable and you can walk more normally. Okay, so heel strike, foot flat. Those are the first two stages of gait, okay? The next phase is when the tibia of the lower leg comes over the foot. So it's like this. The tibia comes over like that, and that's called mid stance, okay? And during that motion is dorsiflexion. Your foot is dorsiflexing. See how it's dorsiflexing? Okay. Now, at this point, the other foot is on the other side. And now what's happening is you get heel off right there. Now, when you come off a heel off, notice that my toe is still on the ground, right, and the shoe breaks right there. We're going to talk about that, because if you have a brace design that doesn't allow this, now you're struggling, because every step you take, you got to overcome the stiff part that's in front, and it makes it really hard to ambulate. Okay, so right here, heel off right there, and then lastly, the last part of gait is toe off right at this moment where your foot's going into swing phase again.
Right. Okay.
All right. So now we're going to talk about each part of that now that we've gone over it, and we have some terminology. So again, at heel strike, if you have a stiff brace, you hit the ground like this. What happens is it kicks your knee forward.
Yeah.
If you have a stiff brace, it'll kick your knee forward. Now that includes like a carbon fiber design, which is supposed to be flexible. And I got a lot to say about the carbon design. But for now, let me just say that it's really meant for weak plantar flexors, and the industry kind of ends up using it for drop foot. And of course, all the braces, well, nearly all the braces handle the swing phase part. What do you need during swing phase? You need the foot to be up so you don't trip over your toe, right? That's it. That's the objective. But what you don't need is stiffness, so much stiffness that when you hit the ground, your knee is buckling every step. Okay, so let's talk more about that. Because stroke cases often have this problem where they hyperextend their knee. This is common. And a common solution to a hyperextending knee is to make a brace like this that has a stop on it. Okay?
Oh yeah.
That's a plantar flexion stop. So you, again, same problem. You hit like this, and it clicks like this, and you can't get your foot down to foot flat, and all of a sudden your knee is like jerked like that. It's kind of subtle, but you'll feel it, and that's an unstable feeling.
Yeah. Can I just say one thing? I took mine off. I have one of these that this one, and I'll tell you, you talk about drop foot, and I don't know if it's right or not, but when I walk with this, it actually lifts my foot up, my toe, which helps me tremendously. I mean, who knew? I mean, a patent product like this. I mean, I've been using the other one, like pretty much like that one you have, and I've been slapping my foot on the ground the whole time, and it's actually, I felt I'm not getting the best. My tone has gotten so much worse because of that brace right there. So this one, if you can see, if anybody can see, it's leaning forward. So when I put it on, it helps me that for me, that's what I got out of it. It lifts my foot up. It's like, wow.
Yeah. So what you're talking about there is a
that's great.
It was called a preload. Okay.
Right.
So I'm jumping around here a little bit, but I don't mind. So what we have here, our brace has these bumper systems, so you can dial in the amount of resistance you want.
Right.
Some people want more resistance, some people want less. But all of our brace designs are cocked forward like that. Okay. This one is a different design. It's attached to a shoe. But when it's cocked forward like that, what happens is when you put it on, it's under tension.
Right. That's why.
Which is really helpful.
Well, I've noticed it right away when I put it on.
Yeah, but you want that because what happens is two things. One is when you hit the ground, it's already under tension, so it's already resisting that plantar flexion, or giving you a nice kind of foot flat, that first motion, that first rocker right there. The other reason you want that is that it gives you assistance through a large range of dorsiflexion. It's not just one position. The whole range of dorsiflexion is being addressed. Some people walk in dorsiflexion. Wow. Some people in a walker will do a crouch gait, and they'll actually walk in dorsiflexion.
That's funny. So, like my mother.
So that's why the step smart brace is good for them, because they're in their walker and they're just taking little tiny steps like this, but it's just the way they walk, but it's constantly dorsiflexion. If you don't have a brace design that has some assistance at that point and a full range of motion, then it's not doing you much good.
Right.
And you end up struggling unnecessarily.
Wow. Amazing.
Okay, so where were we? So we hit the ground. We talked about this. We talked about how coming to foot flat is really important because that stabilizes the knee. And if you don't come to foot flat early in stance phase, then your knee gets kicked forward and you feel unstable. Now, there's the other parts of gait too. Oh, I know what I was going to talk. I was going to talk about the knee, addressing the knee.
I know I confused you. Mine just.
Yeah, that's all right. We digress a little bit. Okay. So a lot of orthotists will decide, oh my God, they've got hyperextension of the knee. Yeah. You can see the genu recurvatum. We've got to address that. And the way we're going to help you is we're going to put this plantar flexion stop in here And that prevents, at this point in gait, it prevents the knee from going back.
I know.
This is a problem where the cure is worse than the problem. Frankly, generally, I don't mind seeing a little hyperextension in the knee. It means the person's stable, their knee isn't going to buckle. It's kind of a protective mechanism. And the cure, this cure anyway, causes more problems because then they hit the ground. Now they're unstable at this position when they're trying to load into it. And now it's kind of unstable there. Yeah, maybe right here, it kind of helps a little bit from that knee hyperextension, but the solution, this plantar flexion stop, and I'm not saying for most people, everybody's different and every gait analysis is different. But by and large, I'm finding that plantar flexion stop is not is causes more harm than it does good.
Right. Yeah, I can see it from.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to keep harping on, but putting that brace on made a huge difference for me. Wearing the one that you have compared to the one I have had for years. Even breaking my hip, I wish I had this when I broke my hip, because I wouldn't know I'd like to see what the difference was.
Yeah, so it's hard for the consumer to know any difference because they're left helpless.
Yeah.
They're told this guy's going to help you, and you put a brace on. It's like, well, I guess that's the way it is.
Yeah.
I guess that's the way I'm going to walk. How do you know, right?
Yeah.
Unless you compare one to the other and try different brace designs, you'll never really even know what you're missing.
Right. Yeah. I was
this is something you you manage every day. It's so inexpensive when you break it down. The expensive things in life are those things you buy and you never use. The cheap things are the things you use every day.
Yeah.
That is where value is. That's where you should be spending your money. So, so if you're using a brace every day, then make sure you spend what it takes to get the one that's going to work best for you, I would say.
Right.
Yeah, because you're what is $1 a day? I mean, really? I mean that's worth a lot.
Right.
So, all right. So let's talk about the next phase in gait, right? Okay. So the foot hits the ground. Okay, we made it to foot flat here, but now the heel has to come up. And if you've got a stiff or a trim line that's not behind the metatarsal heads, or a stiff one, they're all kind of stiff, and you try to come over that toe, you're going to be fighting that. And it's painful. So if you've got a brace design like this, where the metatarsal heads are inside the brace, and you come up over that toe, those metatarsal heads will cram right into that brace every single step, and will cram into there. And over time, maybe it doesn't happen the first couple of times, but eventually you get pain right through here. So I never designed my braces to have this kind of trim. Well, every once in a while I have a reason to do it, but mostly I don't do this, okay? I don't have a trim line that goes anterior to the metatarsal heads. I don't include the toes, and I can talk about why you don't need to do that too, if you like.
Yeah.
I definitely have brace designs that go behind the metatarsal head. So I've got a Step Smart brace here. Grab me a small. And you can see that trim line is behind the metatarsal heads, behind the ball of the foot. That's helpful. That's helpful because when you come over, and after you're in foot flat and you try to come over like this, it easily breaks. You can come right over that. You're not fighting it every step. And I think that's one of the things that you found. Is that right, Jerry?
Absolutely. Completely. What a difference.
So the misconception is, thank you. The misconception is that you need to have a full, everybody looks at the toes. It's like, oh, my toes are dragging. I got to have something under my toes to bring my toes up. No, you don't. The reason you don't is, one, it's a problem, it's painful, and it restricts your normal range of motion. So you don't want that. The second thing is totally unnecessary. So if you ever try to bring up your foot using just behind the toes, you'll notice your toes come right up with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one thing.
Not
Okay.
good.
The other thing that happens is you recruit the shoe. So brace designs, my brace designs basically keep the shoe in mind. I really don't want to crowd the shoe. And that's why we have this cutout here. Okay. The cutout here allows this to fit into normal size shoes. You don't have to upsize the shoe because it sits right back in place all the way back. But moreover, so the pressure to bring the foot up during swing phase is here, of course, but this interacts with your foot interacts with the shoe, and everything comes up, including your toes.
Right. And I'd like to just say one thing is just because my experience since I've had it is I didn't know. Open up the all the straps, then put it. I was trying to shove my foot through the straps, and I was tugging on things. I was not.
Okay.
And I put my heel.
Yeah.
I'm pointing at it. No one can see it. I'm pointing at where the heel needs to sit, but I put it over that. And I thought, well, this is uncomfortable. It's because I was doing it wrong. You know what I mean, right? Don't you?
Yes. So donning the brace is something we really focus on because we know that's part of the process. Just like we know getting up out of a chair and getting into a chair is part of the process. The whole thing needs to be designed around your condition and what you need, and putting the brace on is one of them. So we designed it so you can manage it with one hand, because we understand that stroke has one hand, and so it has a loop here. So like you were saying, Jerry, you gotta open up all the straps first, right?
Right.
You take this, you loop it around, put it through that back loop, and then back on the stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And then the second strap, which normally just sits right there, but I took it off for a second. The calf strap, which is optional, is basically wraps around the calf and just onto itself.
Do you see the question here?
I can't.
It says, do they have anything from the toes from crawling while wearing a shoe?
Okay, so I think what he's talking about is this phenomena where the toes kind of curl like this.
I think so. Okay, so I think that's what you're talking about.
All right, so there's two reasons for that. One is a clonus reason, and one is a donning reason.
Okay.
All right. So the donning reason is this problem. You have a shoe, and you're putting your shoe on. Forget about the brace for a second. You're putting the shoe on, and you're trying to stuff your shoe in here. And if you've got like a sock on that's like a little tacky, or the bottom here is a little tacky, and you go like this, what'll happen is the toes will curl up under.
Yeah.
They'll actually go under, and now you're trying to shove your foot in there, and this whole thing, it's like cramped like this, and it's because there's too much friction.
Yeah.
So we keep that in mind all the time. We have a top cover material you can get a full length, and that allows it to slide easily in there, so it doesn't curl. You don't have this problem where the sock catches. There's too much friction, and then it curls like this, and then you're pushing like this, and all that's happening is you're balling your foot up inside there.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Hazel. And you know what? He said that's correct, what you just said. So,
Friction is so a slick material on the plantar surface of the brace, so it slides in there, would really help. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So.
I said pretty much the same. I kept trying to pull the strap around my shin until I was shown the proper way. Yeah, I mean, I totally understand, Stephen, and that's a great question on that, because it's valid, because I didn't know.
It happens all the time. Yeah. It's one of these things that sometimes you don't have words to describe what's happening, but yeah, it happens. It's very common. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to talk about the shoe for a second, because my guess is everybody here wears shoes. I know I do. And like I said, you have to design the brace for the shoe too, right? You have to design the brace for the condition, you have to design it for the foot, and you have to design it for the shoe. So the shoe has some features that maybe you don't think a lot about, but one of them is this down curve here. See how the shoe has a down curve?
Yeah.
The reason it does, there's a mechanical reason why shoes were designed like that. But they make shoes on a last like this, okay? And the last has a curve, right? So when they make a shoe, they put the sole on, okay, and then they turn it upside down, and then they put the upper on, and then they glue it all together. Probably put the upper on first. I don't really know. I'm not a shoemaker, but the point is they make it around a last, and the last has this curve like this. And you notice it has a spring to it, has a toe spring, and then it has this curve in through here because what they do is they design a shoe to have the heel a little higher than the ball of the foot. Okay, it is a nice thing. I don't like flats. Some people like them, but I don't recommend that. So when you design a brace, guess what? You have to account for that. So many brace designers forget that, and so they end up making a flat bottom. You have a flat bottom like that, it doesn't interface well with a curved shoe. So what ends up happening is you end up with all these gaps and wasted space where it's not and all it does is crowd the foot and crowd the brace inside the shoe. So that's an element that needs to be considered when you're designing braces. Okay.
Right. Do you have the Step Smart Classic and then the Step Smart Pro? Kevin Curry here saying he had the Step Smart Classic and it didn't really work for him, but the Step Smart Pro was like the thing.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting.
Everybody has their different, it works for them, like you said.
There's not much difference between the Pro and the CMT brace. Okay. The CMT brace is what Austin has in now. So let's
okay.
Show that back. Can you show that camera angle?
Yep. Let me bring it up here and then bring it full screen here. This is it.
Okay. So what Austin has here is the Step Smart, the CMT design.
That's what I have, I think.
Okay, that's what you have. So what the CMT design does is it gives you the most control and the most strapping. So it's got a crisscross strap. So if you turn this way, yeah. So the brace has a strap going this way. Whoops. A strap going one way and then the other way. Crisscross right over the dorsum of the foot. Okay. And then it also has a calf strap.
Yeah, I like that. For me.
You'll notice that the calf section is a little higher than the classic. So here's a classic design.
No.
Next to the Pro or the CMT design. And you'll see how much shorter the classic is.
I didn't know. Okay.
Okay. So the classic it works fine for a lot of people.
Sure.
But a little bit of extra length makes it much more comfortable and tolerable against the calf. It's more the meat of the calf, and people like that. And if you turn around even further the other way, to the medial side, you'll also notice that it has a guided calf section. So this is a guide right here.
That helps me.
That helps with inversion of the foot.
Right. There's another comment here saying you need to make one shower and pool safe.
Okay, so let's talk about the shower for a second, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
Just wear your brace in the shower. Who cares?
Yeah.
Put a shoe on. Have a designated shoe that gets wet every time, and just sits there, dries out over the day, and the next day it gets wet again. Who cares?
Yeah.
Wear terrible shoes. Just wear shoes in the shower if you need to. It's okay. Our brace designs can get totally soaked, no problem. And most brace designs can, frankly. And so, I would just say wear the brace in the shower. It's so much easier.
There you go, Stephen.
Yeah. No reason to struggle. All right. So we talked about this shoe and designing it for the shoe. We talked about the phases of gait,
Right.
and we talked about how you really want to have you don't really want to have a full length foot plate. You really want to have one that's trimmed behind the metatarsal head so that it breaks easily right here at heel off. And then the last part is, actually swinging through. And that part there is really interesting because there's a lot of designs out there that actually don't even lift the foot up very well. The wrap, there's a wrap design that kind of wraps around the ankle, and then there's two strings that go into the shoe, and they try to pull the top of the shoe. I've seen those work, but they're really finicky. You've got to get them. You got to get the tension just right. There's also not a lot of shock absorption, so I've gotten a lot of complaints from people. Their heels hurt after a while because they're constantly getting hit, and they can't. There's no shock absorption. There's no resistance to.
Well, maybe they're putting their shoe like I first did. Put my heel in over this, and that did hurt.
That'll hurt.
But yeah, so then
get the brace behind. You got to get the brace all the way back into the shoe. So
yeah,
when you get a Step Smart brace or any brace really, it's you don't want to be setting this up like this and standing on the back of the heel cup. You want to get that brace all the way back into the counter of the shoe, so that your heel lands nicely right in there. I know it's a little hard with this camera.
Yeah.
So that's the idea, right? Like that.
Yeah, no, it's nice. You got a half a shoe, but I always, for mine, I know that I used. I always because I'm so used to it, so maybe I shouldn't have to do it anymore. But two things is I can step in the shoe, but I keep my laces untied because I was using the other brace, the big AFO that you're showing, the white one. But I tried on because I'm going to a wedding. I tried on it with my dress shoes, which I haven't worn probably in 13 years, and it fits. So I'm trying to walk around with those and just not slip.
Okay, so the reason the Step Smart brace fits those dress shoes and your other brace doesn't fit the dress shoes is a simple thing.
Bulky.
This cutout back here. This cutout allows you to put those normal shoes on because it allows that brace to come all the way back into the counter of the shoe. When you fill this up with plastic, it pushes the brace forward into the shoe, and you end up either cramming your toes or you have to upsize the shoe by 2 or 3.
And it really ticks me off because I've wasted. When I was working, I was spending so much money on good dress shoes. I mean, just nice, and I got rid of them all. I have just one pair of less of good ones. So you need to have done this before for me. I mean,
Hey, you can go shopping again and go get your shoes back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But seriously, dress shoes, if you're going to a wedding, this works. It's small. I mean, that's, there you go. That's the one that I use.
So this has that problem with shoeing again because of the plastic that's right here.
Yeah.
It doesn't allow the brace to go all the way back. This part it inhibits it, and so you end up with a situation. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you have gapping back here, and everything's pushed forward, and now your toes don't fit anymore.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It's, if anybody does want to, if they get your brace, definitely get the discount there. It's right there on the deal here, the scroller. But I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference. And I don't know what insurance would ever pay for the original one, like you're showing that other one. It was $1,000. I mean, it was.
Yeah, it's $1,000 because it's got the dorsiflexion hinges, it's got the plantar flexion stop. They probably put foam in here for an extra fee, and then, and then you end up with something that, okay, I guess this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right, I'm still unstable.
Yeah. So the Step Smart cost is really cheap when you really break it down.
Right. There is one here that let's see. You can see this. I have a. Can I play a quick little video? I mean, it's really quick. Let's see if I have it here.
I'm here with Jonathan, and Jonathan came from Rhode Island to come see us, and he's got CMT, and he's been wearing this big one. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I got this about 7 years ago. I got diagnosed, and I've been having a lot of issues on my heel. It's good support, but it's very clunky. And I went over to Ian on this product, but I still wasn't getting enough support because of the CMT with the nerves starting to break down on the muscles. I was losing support. So I came up here, and he has a new product, and I've got it on, and it really, really is a big difference, and I like it a lot.
The CMT style Step Smart brace has a metatarsal pad, has a perineal pad, top cover, has the lateral strap, but also the medial strap, which gives it the contralateral force tension, which is nice for security. And then we have the guided calf section padded, as well as the extended guided calf section.
It works great. I love it.
So that brace there is the one that we recommend for stroke, because the CMT condition is a lot like the stroke condition. The stroke condition is one where there's inversion of the forefoot, and you need to control that. And there's also the hyperextension of the knee, so the two straps help with that in a controlled way that we already kind of went over. So we ended up calling it the CMT brace, but really it should be called the CMT and stroke design.
Yeah. Your question here, Lindora. I always appreciate everybody that comes by. And can this code be used with your insurance? I'm not sure if you know how much the brace is, but who knows? I mean,
Well, I probably do. What's the code? I want to grab the others.
I think she's talking about this code here, Jerry 10, for the discount of.
Oh, Jerry 10, that code? Oh, yeah, that'll work for all of our braces. Yeah, well, you get the automatic 10% discount with that.
Yeah, I think, Lindor, I think you're talking about, will this work with your insurance, if your insurance will pay for it?
Depends on your insurance.
Yeah.
We know that some people submit and get reimbursed for the Step Smart brace. There are some codes that apply, but then when you start doing that, then you have to go to your practitioner, and your practitioner is probably going to steer you in a different direction. I've really had a hard time with practitioners because they look at this and say, it's too small. It can't work that well. That's not what we're trained in school. We're trained in school to do something to control the foot. We've got to control it. No, you control it too much. You're causing problems when you restrict motion that you need to, operate throughout the day. So yes, practitioners generally don't steer you towards the Step Smart brace. Every once in a while, you get somebody who does, but that's what I find.
No's are free, right? You can ask.
What's that?
I said no's are free, so you can always ask.
Right, exactly.
Thank you, Lindor.
So I had another point I wanted to make. Oh, I wanted to talk about the guided calf section, okay? So this guide here on the CMT design or stroke design allows you to move it. Now it comes in a certain position, but you can change it if you wanted. So we can't predict how big or how conical somebody's leg is when they order it on the phone. So what we've done is design something that goes in and out and angles. And so that's what this adjustment's for right there. And so you can snug that up to your liking or bring it out if you want to change it. If it's too tight, you might want to bring it out. If it's too loose, you might want to bring it in. Or you might want to take it off entirely. Depends on your condition. So some people, I just had somebody come in the other day and we removed this because she liked the height of it because it gave her kind of more comfort and more support. But she wasn't twisting her ankle, so we could remove that. So this is primarily designed for two reasons. One is to control inversion of the forefoot during swing phase. And then the other is to keep this calf section aligned during stance phase. So the alignment has to this needs to stay on your calf in order to work. We don't need it dislocating one way or the other. So this often it dislocates to the lateral. So we have this medial guide here to prevent it from going in that direction.
Here's another question too that came up. Well, first of all, hey Lori, nice to see you. How do you get a good size fit over the phone or internet?
Okay, so
Yeah,
really the fit is pretty good right off the bat. Just if you're size 10, 10 and a half, go small. Anything bigger than that, go large. It's really only two sizes. If you're a men's size 13, then maybe you need the extra large. If you're a women's size 6, then maybe you need the extra small. But we really kind of hit the sweet spot. We got probably 90% of the sizes just covered with the small or the large. This is actually called a small medium, and the other one's actually called a large extra large. But there's basically two sizes.
yeah.
So
I believe Stephen, if I'm right, you're 6'7", right? So I'm sure has a large foot.
he probably needs a double X. Yep, we do offer that. So that one there would handle probably up to a size 15 foot.
Okay. I don't know what your size is. There you go.
There you go. And then there's the length of the foot that matters, and I just went over that. 10 is the breaking point. If you're 10, and I'm talking men's sizes, so everybody's got men's sizes. If you're size 10 men's or lower, go with the small medium. If you're 10 and a half or higher, go with the large extra large. Okay. Now the width of the foot, the width of the heel matters.
Okay. He's 6'6", 12 and a half shoe.
Yeah, you should probably just get the large extra large, but that would be fine.
There it goes.
Yeah. Yep. So the heel width right there is a consideration too, sometimes. So basically, the large has a wider heel width. It accommodates a little bit wider heel than the small does. So every once in a while, we'll have somebody whose foot is small and has a wide heel, so wide than the small. So we can make accommodations for that, but it's not something to spend too much time worrying about. The reason is that you can always exchange it. There's no charge for exchanging it. We want it to succeed for you. We take returns. We have a 30-day trial period, so you got plenty of time to make sure it works for you. At first, the straps can feel a little unwieldy. I think, Jerry, you had that experience.
I just didn't realize that was my own fault, but
you didn't realize you had to open it up.
I know. I mean, all you do is shove it on then. I mean, with that, and it's really. I mean,
don't try to feed yourself through. That's why we have a strap.
But like my other AFO, I have to thread like the needle to put the straps on. And yours, look, I'm just pointing, but no one can see me. You have a really good opening to put the straps in, and a very nice what do you call it? Velcro that it sticks right away. Not like mine. It's just I got to shove the foot in quickly before. But
let's go on you.
So that really it was good design with the opening of the straps where you put the straps in.
Yeah, well, we definitely want it to be a big
right there.
Yeah. So that's the loop, so that you can get this cross over the top of the foot through the loop, and then back on itself like that.
Not rocket science.
Well, it can be hard. It can be hard at first, and some people like to put the brace in the shoe first, and then put the brace shoe combination on. Other people like to put the brace on the foot first, and then put the brace foot combination into the shoe. Wow. So both ways are acceptable. You got to find your own way. It can feel, like I said, it can be a little bit of a struggle at first, but after a week, you get into a routine, and it's no trouble at all.
Yeah, exactly. Because my first time, I think we were on a Zoom call. You saw me just struggling like how, and I know you're thinking this guy's an idiot. He can't figure this thing out. But after a while, it's not too bad to do.
Well, what happened in that case, Jerry, is that your clonus was really kicking in hard.
Yeah. And
it was real tight, and you were pushing, and it was kind of an uncontrollable spasm. And I think what you shared with me, correct me if I'm wrong, is that in the morning you don't have so much clonus. So in the morning, we put the brace on. I was like, oh, this isn't any problem.
No, not a problem. And exactly that's what it is. Because the morning, I'm okay. I can walk around barefoot and all that. But getting close to the evening, I do get it because maybe it's because I've walked so much or whatever. But when I put this on in the morning, I'm good to go. It's during the evening. I don't know what time we were talking, but it was later than the normal time, I guess. I don't know, but it worked perfectly. And yeah, I mean, and I damaged one part, but you got it fixed. I had my son come over and brand new again, and I'm good to go. And it's not
what
hard.
happened there. I don't know for your audience if it matters, but what happened there is the strap is designed to be pulled in a certain direction, this direction. And I think what happened is it somehow got rotated around like this. And then when you pull it like that, of course, it'll snap off because you're pulling it in the wrong direction. So we have it oriented in the right way when you get it. So you don't.
But it can be fixed.
Yeah, that's all. We have a modular design, so if any part breaks, you can just order a part. And
yeah. And there's the parts that I got were no one could see it, but the two different parts. One I can't explain it, but there's two different whatever this is called.
It's called a rivet. Yeah, so you rivet it on. Yeah, that's all that is. It's nothing dramatic. So we have 2 more videos. We don't have to show them. How much more time do we have, Jerry? What is your normal kind of run?
Usually right around, we have about like 12, 13 minutes.
Okay. Do you want to give your audience a moment to see if they have any questions?
Absolutely. Hey, anybody has questions? I know there's a bunch. I hope I didn't miss any, trying to keep track of it. But yeah, if there's any questions, please shoot them out here because now's the time. I mean, Ian's here and me trying to explain it, I can probably give you a wrong answer or just my experience. But so ask questions, you guys. This is the time, and I appreciate it. I'll bring the thing here so that if questions come up, they'll be right there. I'm not sure if you can see it on your screen.
You're gonna have to read it to me because right now the screen's far away and my eyes aren't that good.
No worries. I think we went over some of the questions. Let's see if I missed any. Chandra, nice to see you. I got to put my glasses on too. But I don't see him right now. I brought up the comments. Wide angle. What? Sorry, I got to put my glasses on. Wide toes, thin ankle.
Okay, so what they're talking about there is probably the forefoot being wide and the heel being narrow. Yeah. So not really a concern. I haven't seen that really being a problem. When you put the Step Smart brace on, because we designed the heel cup to be kind of all encompassing, even a narrow heel will fit right in there nicely. The width of this is not a consideration either. That's
Right.
more of a consideration of the shoe more than anything. So, the brace will handle a wide foot.
Oh yeah, mine is triple E. Mine's triple E.
Yeah,
triple E. But
and the brace works fine for you.
Yeah, no issues at all. And Steven said, "I'll come up with 5 as soon as you're done." Questions. I know how that goes.
Yeah,
totally understand that. But yeah.
So,
keep going.
So I always recommend you don't buy shoes until after you get a brace. We don't, generally speaking, our brace fits most shoes. They won't fit a cowboy boot. They won't fit pumps with high heels. You don't expect that kind of thing, right? But normal everyday shoes, it works really well.
But I went to area because I'm in Texas. I gotta wear cowboy boots. And I never could just because of my issue. And I had someone at area that said, "You know what? I can make one with a zipper."
Oh yeah.
So I never did it, but that's one of the things she said she could do, and I think that would work.
Yeah, that could work. The other thing I've done is I've cut big holes in the back of a boot to accommodate the brace.
Well, that's an
Just
idea.
this part that works. But really, if you want like a special kind of shoe, like the ladies like to wear like a little booty kind of shoe,
Right.
we can do that. We can attach this. So what this is this is a Step Smart brace attached to the outside of a shoe. Okay, so there's nothing inside at all. So this is a slip-on shoe, and so this design here allows somebody just to slip right in. It's really good for at nighttime, around the house. You get up out of bed, you need to go to the bathroom, whatever. Slip this baby on. You don't even need this strap. You can just take it right off.
Yes.
A lot of our straps are removable. We provide you with an Allen wrench so you can remove it or put it back on if you wanted it later. But this is a really comfortable way to go, and solves the problem for around the house. But also the same external fixator can be used for like the cowboy boot design, or the nice little booty, like I don't know what to. I'm not good with shoe names, but the women like to wear these cute little boot things you can't possibly fit a brace into unless you get this, and then this provides you with what you need to be functional, and you still get a chance to wear those kind of shoes.
Right. And here's I know this is a shoe. It was the Beach Lady Project says this brace helps stabilize the ankle from turning inward, and it also gives feedback into the body for leg placement. Where can I find this brace? Well, here it is right here. I'm putting up all the it's insightful products, but here's the Facebook page, Twitter page, and Instagram, YouTube. So if you see here on the screen, you can see all the different ways to get a hold of them. And if you are going to order them, so my gosh, Stroke does give you, here it is right here. So you lock that here, right here on, it says Jerry 10, there is a discount and free shipping. So you gotta, if you want to do it, this is where it is. And this is Ian, who is the founder and patent this product, all these products. I mean, this is the real deal, you guys. So try to throw that out there. So but yeah, so anything else?
Do you want to play that other video of the other
gentleman, or the?
Yeah, because they had a real kind of typical PLS design, which she was struggling with.
The one who was walking?
Gail, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know her name. Let's see here, and hopefully I got this the right way. It may be a little blurry, but
okay. This isn't what I was thinking, but we can talk about this.
The one that's that I put on my.
So what this is showing is it's showing the different phases of gait. So if you look at the right foot, it's in mid stance now. And the right foot is the one that's closer to us. And right about now, the heel comes off the ground. See right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're calling it terminal stance, but that's heel off right there. And then the other foot contacts, and right there, that toe break is happening. And you need that, right? We already talked about how the Step Smart allows that toe break right before you get off of the toe off right there. So as she swings that right leg through, you'll notice something interesting is that the clearance is very minimal. Look how close she comes. Look how close she comes to the ground, okay? I can tell you why she does that. And look how close she is right there to the ground. It's still up in the air, right?
Mm-hmm.
We still haven't hit the ground yet. Right there, now she has heel strike. You see that?
Yeah.
And now she comes to foot flat. The reason why her clearance is so limited is because she's a human being, and all human beings will find the most efficient way to walk. And the most efficient way to walk is not to raise your foot real high. It's to raise your foot just high enough so you're not tripping over it. So I'm not a big fan of gait training beyond a certain amount, because you'll just find a way to walk, and you don't want to be thinking about walking as you're walking. You want to be thinking about other things. If you got a situation where you have to think about every step you're making, eventually you're going to fall, because eventually you're going to be distracted. You're going to think about something else. It's much better to have a brace design that allows you to walk without having to worry about it and without having to think about it. And that's what we aim to do for our patients.
Yeah, that's you do a great job on this.
Well, we don't. It's not for everybody, but we have a pretty good batting average.
Yeah.
One little trick I'll share with you that that's worth mentioning is, stroke really it's all about clearance, right? Getting the other foot across, right? So if you got a situation where even with a step smart brace, you're overpowering it. Maybe you have a step smart brace, you're overpowering it a little bit during swing phase because your clonus is kicking in and you still can't quite get through. You can put a lift on the contralateral side. You can put something in the shoe. Sometimes it only takes 1/8 of an inch, maybe 1/2 an inch. And getting the other side, the contralateral, if you've got a stroke on your right foot, putting a lift on the left foot just a little bit can allow that foot to come through nice and easy without any trouble.
That's great. Yeah, Kevin asked me something here too, and I'm trying to do it right now, Kevin. So to scroll the your contact information here. So I'm adding here, Steven. Sorry about that. Hopefully I did this right. No glasses, and I'm doing it. So. Okay, that's the only one I got. I can get the rest of all to gosh darn it. It's always all the different what do you call that? The pages, Facebook, Twitter. So even though this says YouTube, it's all of them. Twitter, X, whatever. But Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all the above. So that's how you get a hold of them. And remember, Jerry 10, if you want the discount, if you just want to throw more money out there, you don't need to do that. So
Jerry, there is that last video. Do you want to put that Gail?
Absolutely, yeah. Let me
she had a PLS AFO. It's like a stiff version of what's typically provided.
Okay. My affected ankle always wants to roll out. That's what Steven is saying.
Yep. So we call that inversion, and very, very standard with stroke, and we address that with our design. Yep.
Okay, let's see. I'm like the last person trying to figure this out. I had it here. I had it all set up here, and then let's see. Oh, okay. Because I have only the one gal there walking. Otherwise, I have the other gentleman who's, I think the same guy telling another, what he was sharing here. Jonathan.
I'm here with Jonathan, and Jonathan came from Rhode Island to come see us.
No, the other
CMT.
We already did this one.
Yeah, this is not the right one.
Tell us about that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
I got
see
this
where he
about,
is. Sorry about this, guys, but things happen. Okay.
The production costs are low.
I know exactly. Oh my gosh. Maybe this is
I'm
it.
here with Jonathan, and Jonathan came from Rhode Island to come see us, and
that's Jonathan again.
Jonathan, you're a busy guy.
Not Jonathan.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got this about.
We'll have to do another show then. And put more in there. Yeah.
No big deal. So
Yeah.
she had a PLS AFO, and she came in to see us, and we ended up doing the CMT design. We ended up taking off the guide because she didn't need it.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it depends on how much inversion
Yeah.
you have. Some people don't need that extra support, but
Right.
you've got a lot of inversion. You're going to want the CMT design with both straps. That'll cinch things down nicely. Maybe you can control it. I mean, it all depends on how much tone you have.
And the other strap that I got, and it helps me just because I'm so used to having that.
You like the calf strap too on top?
I do. That's just me.
All the straps are optional with our design. You don't have to wear any straps at all. Some people go strapless. It all depends on your condition. Yeah.
Yeah. And tomorrow, since I'm going to be home, I'm going to try that without the strap and walk around, see how it is.
So it's easy to experiment. So if you have a step smart brace and you're wondering, gee, I wonder if I really need this strap, all you have to do is take the strap off, okay, and just like tuck it in somewhere, tuck it in the shoe or something, and just lay it over the top, or maybe lace it down, and try walking around without that strap engaged, and see what happens.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah. So we have two types of strap. We have the attachment, which is the rivet, and then we have the attachment, which is the screw.
Yeah,
the screw allows you to. Yeah, so you can try it with it off. You can put it on. You can put it off. But if you have the one with the rivet, well, you're taking it off once, and then you got to like figure out how to rivet it again, which is not that big of a deal. But so if you cut this, if you decide you don't want the strap and you cut it, just keep in mind that if you want to put that back on, you'll have to find a shoemaker or somebody who's got a way to rivet that back on.
Right.
Throw around. It's not
My son even put the sticker back on too.
Oh, good for him. Nice.
But yeah, it works for me. I can tell you that.
Well, great.
Yeah,
I think we're good. I think we can call it a wrap here if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great having you here again, and thank you, Sandy, if you're still out there. And I know he was there. The ankle model.
Austin,
yeah, Austin, great job. So, but yeah,
got a nice looking ankle.
Yes, nice ankles. but that's great.
Call me Engelman.
Yeah, and Ian Engelman here from Insightful Products. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. And the questions too. And I know, just like Steven said, when we're done, and this always happens, we get so many more questions, after the fact.
Well, there's a lot more to talk about. We can do another session another time if you like.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's been great. I appreciate, your time and everybody's time here. And, you can email us and we'll be happy to entertain any questions.
Absolutely. And you know what? This is another question, but I will say, Alan, I'm 63 and I use one. He's saying could have used 47 years ago. All I had is a spring screwed to my shoe. I didn't read the whole thing, but yeah, that's 47 years ago. Good for you. But thank you for saying that. So, and thank you, Ian, and
my pleasure.
Everybody at your company there is great and so responsive. I have to say that. So I don't, it's great. So there it is, right there. Insightful Products on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, probably LinkedIn too, and all the above. So just
the website. That's what matters.
Yeah. Probably insightfulproducts.com.
Yep.
So that's awesome. So Insightful Products. Thank you too. Yeah. So all right. Well, thank you guys, and you have a great rest of your evening, and thank you for being here so late. So I appreciate it. Usually 10 a.m. and I'm going to go back to my Tuesday and Thursday because there's long issues here, but it's all good. So things are good. So, yes. All right.